For a long time, I felt there was something missing in my understanding why certain societal problems are still there. We see the exploitation of human and natural resources, mass production, mass consumption, intolerance, and racism. I was studying gender power, class power, but I still felt it didn't really explain why these problems are still there. And my question was, what is it with us humans that allow this to happen? Then I read the philosopher Michel Foucault, his thoughts about power and how it's linked to our behavior, and the human need to differentiate and the human need to constantly find benefits. And the sociologist Pierre Bourdieu, who talked about how we try to learn the language and the behavior that we know will give us an entrance to privileged groups in society. And Gandhi's thoughts about that we all are part of one. These three thinkers made a big impression on me. And then I started thinking, I came to kind of a conclusion thinking, I think the most important power is the power that takes place and starts within our own minds. And I believe a lot of the answers lie just there. So, in my perspective, we are all both perpetrators and victims of power at the same time. Whatever we are ready to do, and whatever it takes to reach whatever we want, that's when we enter a power relationship. But to understand this, we need to look at power in a different way. We can find power at all levels. It just needs two units. It starts with a feeling and a reaction, and a relationship to that feeling. For example, if I have a fear of becoming an outsider, I'm quite likely to have a high acceptance to whatever it takes from me to avoid to fall out as an outsider. Many would say that no change can really take place without political decisions. I'm just one person, what can I do? But we also know that any kind of change begins with people's thoughts and actions. And acceptance and indifference is instrumental power. If I was going to ask all of you in here in this room today, what is power? I'm quite sure that many of you would say it comes from above. Could be employers, bosses, authorities, the media. Some would say there's a patriarchy using power against women. Some would say people with money have power. But to me, gender power, class power are just symptoms of power in the larger system that allow power to happen. If I say, I am power, you are power, you probably say, no, power is something you have. And when we say have power, we tend to mean have a certain position or a certain means. But the main power lies within ourselves and in each individual's reactions. I look at power as something that we use every day, our daily decisions, attitudes and behavior, and what we buy and how we spend our money will send signals on what we want and what we can accept and what we prefer. And in that way, we exercise power. It doesn't matter if the effect is at a very far distance on the other side of the world. Sometimes we talk about empowerment, power in a positive way, as if something that can only happen given certain circumstances. Through my journeys around the world, I have met people living under very poor conditions and people extremely rich. And it seems that no matter class, color, gender, we tend to differentiate ourselves and compare. And people with less tend to be more tolerant and generous. I am full of options to do different. I don't really need the time, I don't really need the money or means. What I do need is my thoughts to decide how I shall spend my time and money. And only when I see myself as part of something bigger, as part of a globalized society, will I be able to break up with short-sighted needs and be more inclusive. To me, that is stronger than any political decision, and it's you and me who can do that groundwork. I was in a shop recently, and I overheard a young woman talking to her friend, and she said, I want to shop something, I just don't know what. And I think I think that illustrates very well our relationship to consumption and the kicks that we have learned that we can get from it, but also the high acceptance to its side effects. Why don't we ask ourselves, how was this item produced? And how were the workers' conditions? What was the environmental impact? Do we have time to ask these questions? I believe so. Do we want to ask these questions? That's another question. Living and lifestyle magazines are very popular here in Sweden. They deliver possibilities of dreams, but they also shape our values. And if they appeal to something in me, they will trigger something in me that will start compare my life to others. Will I feel that my life is not as worthy? Will I feel dissatisfied? And will I feel that I need to do something about my life? All of a sudden I feel that something might be missing. So my reaction, my feeling and my reaction to all this is where one type of power relationship begins. It has become a norm that we need a lot of space in our apartments, and that children from a very early age need a room of their own. When we accept these kind of norms, we are also ready to put ourselves in quite a vulnerable situation when we are ready to take big bank loans just to get what we want. We do choices every day by routine, at work, at school, in the food store, at dinner parties. We show who we are, what we want, and what we prefer. But if I start asking a very simple question, why when I'm about to do certain things, to buy, to say or do something, then I have started a very important questioning process, and a social change in my life has begun just there. So what about power and intolerance? For intolerance to occur, we need to define ourselves in relation to a norm, a feeling about what is normal, abnormal, the right thing, the best thing, and the preferable. We compare with the other. And it seems like humans, no matter color, class, or gender, tend to compare and exclude anything that challenges my values and sense of identity. And in this way, intolerance continues. And when we define our world as dangerous, we tend to build all kinds of fences around us. For me, power is what happens between the giver and the receiver, no matter what gender or class. What my emotions tell me will make me look for comfort, safety, approval, and a sense of belonging. And it's what I'm ready to do to get all that will tell me how much power I'm ready to use and accept. And none of us want to stay in the periphery unless it's an active choice. From a very early age, we learn codes and norms about what is right and wrong, and so forth. And all that will guide us through life. But also we learn what will happen if we are divergent. So a lot of times we base our decisions on fear and expectations. And therefore we tend to accept a lot. And in return, we hope to get what we want. So the further away you are from the victim and seeing the side effect of your decision, the easier it is to continue and support destructive and dangerous systems. And to feel the need for change, we need to feel the full importance of our daily actions. So why not challenge yourself and to look at your daily routines by looking at your actions as relations and relation building? Subconsciously and in a subtle way, we all contribute to intolerance and exploitation. And we do the same mistakes as others do. And therefore we also need to be more forgiving when we fail, because that we will do. I was at the dinner party, and one of my work colleagues sat at the table, and I was telling her about the book I was writing about power. She was quiet for a while, and then she said to me, you know, sometimes when I attend the work meetings, it's just enough with a glimpse of an eye or a body movement that can make me feel so small, and then I hold back. I think we all can, recognize that feeling. And the interesting thing is, what happens with her? And what is she ready to do? That's where the power comes. Any kind of adjustment that she is ready to do, her adjustment to fit into the group, to feel liked and approved again, that will tell her how much power she's ready to use and accept. Maybe she could have broken that power relationship with that feeling she had, or with that work environment that was not that allowing and open-minded. Maybe she could have broken that power relationship by conquering her fears. It's when she holds back, it's when she accepts the power. But also are the others that attending the meeting. So I believe there are plenty of situations like that we all here in this room can refer to. So what I want to do is to share a very simple method to find power in your life. And to see, and then with that method you will also be able to see how we all are perpetrators and victims of power at the same time. To me, power is unavoidable, it's a human skill. But just by becoming aware of the two sides of power, the negative and the fruitful, we can minimize the side effects and use the power from within to shape and form a life that is more true to myself and that doesn't violate on others. So the method I'm suggesting is a line of questions that will give you an awareness about your choices and the power relationships that you're involved in. It will be very simple to ask, but a little bit harder to be true to your answers. The questions can go like, why do I want this? What do I expect from this? And why? Why didn't I say that? Or why did I say that? And I felt like in this way. But why didn't I say that? Why didn't I stand up? Or why did I do this and that? And is this good for me and for others? If the answer is, it's just good for me, or just good for others, then I probably know I need to make a different choice. So ever since I started to ask myself these questions, life has become a little bit more complicated, yes, but also more honest. So the biggest fight against power will be the one that takes place in you. And for social change, you don't have to be a Mahatma Gandhi, or you don't have to be a Malala. Just be you. So why not challenge your daily routines and become an activist in your own life? Only then you have planted a seed for change. Maybe a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, after all, can summarize it all. Be the change you wish to see in the world. So next time when you go out shopping and feel that you want to shop something but you don't know what, that's where the crossroad is. There and then you can decide what power relationship you're ready to support or to break. Thank you.